Hey everyone, welcome to Life Interrupted. I'm Astrid Martinez, your host. Life is hard, but you don't have to do it alone. Each week we'll talk about those unexpected turns in life that shake us, that shape us, and ultimately, if we let them, they can lead us exactly to where we're meant to be. This podcast is here to offer support, to share stories, and to remind you to trust the process and embrace the beauty in chaos. Oh, we all hear the saying, life is what happens when you're busy making plans, and life isn't always a clean before and after. It is sometimes that in-between phase, the messy middle. It's like a tender space in between chapters where something really hasn't ended, but something really hasn't started yet. It could feel like grief sometimes because the next chapter isn't fully revealed to us, but we know something's coming. We just don't know what it is. You could be grieving the person that you once were. The person that you probably thought, okay, by this time I'm gonna have this and this and this career, or this and this love, or, this house by this age, these marks, these goalposts in life that, we set out to have. And maybe you did accomplish them all, but maybe you're not happy. And then you want something, not that you're not fulfilled, but maybe you have new goals, new visions, new dreams for yourself. So you're shedding away some things, and maybe some shame or some stigma is not letting you do so because you want to satisfy people or family members, or you think, okay, I'm all these titles that I've worked really hard for, but I want something new for myself. So you're letting that go, and you don't know what is, yet to come. It could also be that relationship that you thought would last. You worked really hard at it and everybody thought that it would last as well, but now you're letting that go. Or a career that you thought would finally make you feel like you're defined and you're validated. Everything you sacrificed was all worth it. So you could be trying to let go of all of that, but quietly you could also be sensing that something new is brewing inside of you. You can't see it yet, so there's a little bit of tension. There's a little bit of frustration, uneasiness. That in the meantime can be painful. It can be scary because we can feel really restless and uncertain. But in that messy middle is where transformation begins. There's this human tendency that we have that if we don't know what's going to happen next, we're going to stress about it. We're going to have so much anxiety about it. So I want you to think back to a time where you were in that messy middle. Maybe you were waiting for test results, or hoping for a job offer, or sitting in silence after a breakup. Remember how heavy that felt? Ask yourself, once you finally made it through, did you look back and realize that you wasted so much time stressing, and that stress did not change the outcome of the situation anyway? You stressing about it wasn't going to make it a positive result or a negative result. The result was going to happen regardless. All that worrying didn't move things forward. It didn't accelerate the process. It just completely drained you. The truth is, life is going to unfold anyway, but the stress is really going to hurt your body, your mind, and your spirit because the body keeps the score. So what if instead of during those times, that fear of in the waiting, instead of stressing, you choose to live in joy in the middle of that messy middle? When I think about that whole in-between messy middle, I think about the reason why I launched this podcast as well. I was in a season where my future also felt a little bit shaky. I was losing the respect for these career structures that I thought would define me. And honestly, I didn't know what was next, but I know I wanted to create something of my own. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I had fear. I wanted it to be perfect, but I know you can't be perfect. You have to launch right away, or not right away, but you have to launch and you can't wait for perfection, or else you'll never get going. And don't get me wrong, sometimes when I was in that in-between phase, it was that the fear was about to swallow me up, and I was going to stay paralyzed and not do anything. But I decided to create something new, and I decided to create Life Interrupted. And let me tell you, stepping into that isn't glamorous. It is scary, a bit cringe when I have to post some videos of me that are kind of a disorientation from just being the journalist that asks questions, but now telling my story. But still, I forced myself to hit send on Instagram and on YouTube because I knew that step would take me to the next step. And then the path would reveal itself as soon as I start taking steps forward. And I also had many doubts, many questions. What is this going to look like? Who is going to listen to? Who's going to really care? But I did it anyway in the middle of the fear. But I decided to live in joy and in hopefulness until the next chapter reveals itself. I decided that even though I didn't know that this was guaranteed, it is better to move than to stay stuck. Better to try trembling than let the fear of that messy middle or perfectionism or having to know exactly what's next keep me silent. That's what the in-between taught me, that you don't wait until you feel ready. You live while you're scared. You build while you're uncertain. And sometimes those seeds that you plant in the most fragile season could become your most fruitful harvest. So if you are in a moment where you feel in limbo, here are some tools that helped me during this season. Sit with your uncertainty and don't force clarity. Instead of rushing to fix it, allow yourself to say, I don't know yet, and that's okay. When identity feels fluid, anchor yourself in rituals. Your morning walk, your coffee, your journaling, your prayers. Sometimes I feel like these types of structures, they are not small. They are really like scaffolding that helps you to hold it all together while some things could be falling apart. They keep you steady. Also, reframe the waiting. This isn't wasted time. It's gestation time, processing. Transformation is always happening beneath the surface, even when you can't see it. And I'll leave you with this quote that I believe Marilyn Monroe said, sometimes things fall apart so better things can fall into place. Once again, thank you so much for listening and watching Life Interrupted. I'm your host, Astrid Martinez. If this episode resonated with you, please like. Also, please share with someone that you think needs to hear this and is going through a season that is not so fun. We'd love for you to share. Also, leave any comments or questions. I'll make sure I answer them. Remember to trust the process and embrace the beauty in chaos.